So obviously, one of the things that we spoke about in the last one was YouTuber holidays, but there was one holiday that me and Chip actually went on, and you could call it a holiday, but it's an insane road trip.
More of an experience.
It
like
is. It is, and it is called
Gumball 3000.
Yes, it is. It's called Gumball 3000. Now, to anyone that's into cars, chances are you probably know what it is, because I would say it's definitely the most famous.
It is the number one like road trip of like where the cars drive through the cities. Like,
it's mental. So what you do, like we said, it's a road trip, but it's filled with supercars, cars that you actually have never even seen before. We were friends with the person that had a Batmobile on there.
Oh, that was crazy.
Oh, mate. And what was it? What was our route? We started in
London. Was it London?
Dublin.
Ah, yes.
We started in Dublin. And then we finished in Bucharest, Romania. And you might be thinking, that's a bit rogue, Cal. But you go through the most amazing cities. We had the most insane time. So what we wanted to do was sort of just chat through a bunch of the stories that we had, just a bunch of the crazy times that happened on Gumball. So first of all, to get on Gumball, you're probably wondering, how the hell do you manage to get on Gumball? Well, you pay 50 grand.
Is that how much it costs? I thought it was 50 grand.
Bro, 50 bags. Now, it changes each year depending on what their route is.
It depends on like the hotels as well, right?
Yeah.
And it's like an all-inclusive thing. So you pay that 50 grand, but it's a week. Was it a week?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it changes. It does change. But the one that we went on, so the reason why, I certainly didn't pay £50,000 because, I didn't have the Fellas podcast, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't have that sort of money.
But now we chilling.
And the way that I ended up, or the way we both ended up going up, was a company paid for us to sort of drive a car with all their stickers and logos on it.
Which we did not drive, by the way.
We sat in the back and slept.
I didn't actually have my driving license. You did, but you still didn't bother. We just sat in the back every day and slept, and then until like 4 p.m. got up, and then that was it. And it was so what tends to happen is the route anyways, we went from Dublin, Belfast across to Edinburgh. How are you even the fact that you even remember it? I do not remember any of the route.
Yeah, and we were driving a G-Wagon to those interested, but there was an F1 car at one of the starts.
All sorts.
Mate.
Every car that you could imagine that car guy would love is there. They've got all sorts. They had the GTR, they called it, because it was a GTR wrapped in emojis.
Yeah.
Because emojis had just become popular at the time.
And it was, it was carnage. And it's one of those things, it is filled with billionaires, bro, the people that we met on that trip were insane. Like, I'm talking, you know how there's like rich people, you got famous people, you got rich people, and then you got rich people that don't want to be famous because they're that fucking rich.
Yeah. Well, remember I was wearing obviously we won't name drop anyone, but I was wearing the Billionaire Boys Club t-shirt or something, or a hoodie, and one of the guys that was kind of in our group, and he walks past me and he goes, "I own that." And I was like, what? I was like, wait, what? And that's but it was so casual. He said it and he just walked off.
So we're not gonna say any names here, because obviously I think one of the big things about Gumball is it's where these guys get to go and they just have loads of fun.
Enjoy themselves.
So we aren't gonna name names here, but we can certainly tell fucking stories about what went down. And we'll call this guy George. That's what we'll do. We're gonna call
which guy we're calling George?
Billionaire Boys Club Donnie George.
Yeah?
All right. So George, we get introduced. So to begin with, me and Chip, we were the new ones on the block. A lot of the people that go on the rally are, returning people. They come, they do it again. You see the same guys over and over. So everyone already kind of knew each other a little bit. But me and Chip, new kids on the block. And no one really spoke to us that much.
They didn't at first. I think people were a bit wary of us because we were known as the YouTuber kids that had just come on this trip. And they're all mates. Mate. They're literally all mates, all know each other. It took us a while to actually meet some people.
And so, anyways, we one of the guys who we end up finding out is royalty of a certain country. He's the first one that comes up and speaks to us and sort of says, "Hello, mate. How are you? come hang out with me, sort of thing, didn't he?
Yeah. No, he's a
and
great guy.
top bloke. And yeah, so he's like, oh, I'd like to introduce you to George. I say, all right. And now me and Chip, we fancied ourselves as like, relatively good drinkers. Like, well, I mean, I can hold my drink. Chip, he's working on it.
I'm not. It's apple juice, by the way.
Yeah, sure. And I say, yeah, I can drink quite a lot. And he's like, wait till you meet George. George will want to have a competition with you. And I'm thinking, I mean, I'm really not that. I didn't want to have a competition over it. I just said I can hold my drink. That's literally what I said.
Yeah.
Anyways, we sat down. I think we're in the second city, and he calls over this George guy. No. And this George guy, he hadn't said like hello. Like all he'd said is to Chip was,
and he's a bit scary as well. Like
scary, Donny.
We were a bit younger at the time, and he was like older, super rich, good-looking guy.
Yeah.
And he just had a little bit of a scary demeanor, like.
Mm-hmm. And he comes over and he goes, and no hellos, no nothing. He walks over. He goes straight to me. He said, "I heard you said you could drink more than me." I go, nah, I didn't say that. And he goes, all right, then here you go. Here's your bottle of red wine, and here's my bottle of red wine. I'm gonna say first to finish it. And I'm there, and I'm there, just like, bro, I didn't say that. Like, and Mr. Royalty is just cackling away, laughing away.
And I'm thinking he's put you in the shitter.
He's put me in the shitter here. Anyways. I was like, I can't escape it. Like, he's there, he's chanting. And so I go, all right, fine, let's drink. Boom, both bottoms up. 5 seconds in, goes past. I'm thinking, fucking, I'm so peppered out. I'm gonna be on the ropes after this. 10 seconds in, he puts his down. He'd finished the entire bottle, yeah, in 10 seconds. And I'm sat there, bro. I'm not even a fourth through it. And I put it down, and he goes, don't ever say that again. And walks away.
He takes pride in being able to get absolutely hammered.
Bro, and he just alphaed the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
And I was there.
He bro, he owns...
Bro,
yeah,
he was
shit,
the real fuck. And I was literally there just like, bro, I've just been alphaed the fuck out of.
Crazy.
Anyways, I'm sat there and I'm going to Mr. Roy. I'm like, why did you say that? I didn't say that I could drink. And he was just cracking up. He's like, oh, don't worry about him. You'll get to know him as the rally goes on. I'm thinking, all right, whatever.
I swear we didn't.
No. We got to know him a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
He never liked us from the beginning to the end.
He didn't for some reason.
He did not like us. I just couldn't get it.
Yeah.
He wasn't English, though, was he? He was American, maybe?
Yeah.
Something
he
like
lived
that.
in America.
Yeah,
anyways.
he did live in England. But I think we should tell everyone how like a day on Gumball goes. So the way it starts. So where did we start?
So like I said, we started in Belfast. You go up to Dublin.
Yeah, because we went past the Titanic thing, right?
We could have done, mate.
Yeah, I swear we did. But
each one you drive across to. So let's say we go down to London. We'll just use London as an example because we go across to Edinburgh and then you drive down from Edinburgh all the way to London.
Which we did do.
Yeah.
Which we did do as well.
And we're sitting. So what happens is you wake up in the morning, usually hungover. You go down and there's a starting grid, and that's where all the cars are all lined up and everyone leaves at the same time. And we're talking like over 100 to 150 supercars, some of the rarest cars in the world, are all leaving, and that brings a massive crowd. And like when we would like come into a certain place, like for example with London, they blocked off the whole of Regent Street.
Yeah.
To those of you guys that don't know, Regent Street is right next. It's like comes off of Oxford Street. It's one of the biggest streets in London, and they locked it off.
It was crazy.
And there's pictures of me and Chip.
Yeah, I remember these ones. Are you talking about the ones where it's me and you sat there with the flares? Because G-Wagon had a roof where you could just pull it off. Yeah. They were like, right, take these flares. We made us sit hanging on the top of the G-Wagon as we roll through, like, was it Regent Street? And even still, every major city that you go to, it's the same thing. They shut off the main street of that city, and you roll through the finish line. And we're just hanging there with these red and blue flares, and the pictures that we got were a bit crazy. Maybe we'll bang one up on screen right now for you, just so you know what we're talking about.
And so in that region, and you got to remember, guys, the whole street is just jam packed. I think they say something like there's like 500,000, like 1 million people. You can Google it. I forget how many people it is, but they all come out. Because imagine in the UK, if you're a car fanatic, you are going to one of the
yes.
cities that they stop in. So we stop by. The fans are doing an absolute madness. Everyone's shouting, blah blah blah. Cal, chip, whatever.
I remember.
And in front of us, we had probably one of the most outrageous cars there, which was the Batmobile, owned by Mr. Royalty.
Didn't the Batmobile as well get made in the? I don't know if I'm saying this right. It's Koenigsegg. Is that the?
The head engineer
factory, or the head engineer made the Batmobile.
So what it was a Lamborghini Gallardo,
and they changed it.
They took it all the way over to Sweden, and they got it turned into the Batmobile by that guy.
Yeah, I remember him telling. That is a crazy story, to be fair.
Absolutely nuts. So that's the sort of money we're talking here, guys.
Did they ever say how much it cost to do that?
He wouldn't really give us like the deets on it.
I don't remember if he said that, but didn't it also actually get crashed in the end?
No.
A few months later, right?
Oh, it might have done. Yeah, I think you're actually right. But one car that did actually crash on the rally was now I don't know the name of it, but what I do know is that it was worth 1.5 million. And what happened was the owner of the car wanted it to start in Belfast where the rally started, but he was going to go ahead and pick it up when it reached London, and he was going to drive it from London onwards, the owner. But through the windy roads of Scotland, after we got, because it went on a ferry from Dublin across to Scotland, through the windy roads there, this guy loses control of the whip. The guy that was just driving it down to London to its owner goes flying into a ditch.
I remember, didn't we drive past it?
Yes,
and
we
stopped
drove
as
past.
well, and everyone was like, he was like, I fucked it.
Yeah. No shit. He's just crashed a £1.5 million car.
Yeah,
man.
and he was not the owner.
No,
by the way. So.
Oh, I couldn't imagine.
Could you imagine that conversation? He jumps on the phone. Yeah, mate. No, I fucked it.
Oh, I couldn't imagine it. We get to Regent Street, and just the reception is ridiculous. I honestly haven't seen something like that. And then what happens is Gumball go and book out an entire club. And I forget which club it was. I think it was Tape.
No, we went to Tape in London.
Was it Tape?
Yeah, it was Tape.
Yeah, which is maybe one of the most popular clubs in London, where all like the celebrity dons go. And so they booked out the whole thing. Everyone's in there. You had David Hasselhoff was in there. Justin Bieber was. There was another big celebrity in there. Anyways, there's loads of people that just come out for the parties, because like going to a Gumball party is nutty.
Don't forget about the astronaut as well.
Yes.
We're talking about a 70 to 80-year-old, maybe Russian. Was he?
No, Swedish
astronaut.
Yeah.
And he's dancing. I'm almost certain he had like his jacket on with his badges on or something. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, I'm an astronaut. I was like, fuck. And bear in mind, there's not that many. There's maybe 500 people that have been to space or something.
Fuck knows, man.
It's not a high number. And he's one of them. And he's just dancing. And he's got so many girls on him. I'm like, and bear in mind, it's like a 70-year-old man.
Yeah.
Grey hair, not even really looking young.
No.
And he's just living life. He's in Tape, dancing, girls all over him. He's an astronaut. Everyone's talking about how he's an astronaut. And it's like, what the fuck?
Because... bro, I remember looking across and I'm thinking, like, he wasn't like, you know how you get like the creepy old dudes, that like, clearly, either paying girls to be around and whatever. No. People knew that he was an astronaut, or used to be an astronaut. Yeah. The girls that were on this don was ridiculous. I went over to him and I said, can I please just have one shot with you? Yeah. I'd love to have a shot with an astronaut. And he went, of course. Like, he was buzzing. He was loving it. And so I remember you, me, and the astronaut did a shot,
and we've got a picture with him. I don't know what the picture is, but it's a fucking blurry picture. Well, it's quality.
Oh mate, like I said, some of the people just on this road trip
Afrojack was the DJ that came along on most of the trip, right? And he DJ'd at quite a few of the clubs.
Bro, he got fined. That guy is one of like the fastest drivers I've ever seen.
He was in
a Lambo,
Aventador, wasn't it?
Yeah,
yeah, it was nice as well.
And he got, mate, the amount of times he would go flying ahead, way past us, right? And then we would end up catching him, because you just look on the side of the road and he was always getting pulled over by the feds, and he just kept fined, and he just didn't give a shit, crack on, keep going, next country, boom, fined, keep cracking on, man. He was an absolute monster. He was so fast.
And then also after your night's done at the club, obviously you stop every day in a different city, and it's the same every day pretty much. There might be one day break, but it's a big party of the best club of that city on that night when you get there. And then you go and stay in your hotel, which we didn't even know any of the names of the hotels we're staying in. They book it for you, and that's why it's like £50,000 because I'm pretty sure we stayed in Cafe Royale,
which is one of London's best hotels.
The best room, I think, in the entire hotel, which is not cheap at all. So, and it's the same every city you go to. You stay in a 5-star, nothing less, and obviously you've got the club, the hotel, everything else is sorted, the route, everything, and that's why it costs so much.
Yeah, and everything's sorted for you. Yeah. That's what's so nuts. From London, you then go across into France for a little bit. So you go on the Eurotunnel. That was pretty crazy. I am going to say one story here because I don't actually know the guys that did it, but there were these guys that they had like a jacked up is it a G-Wagon or something? It was like a G-Wagon but on absolute roids. The wheels were massive, the suspension was crazy, and when you go on this it's like the Eurotunnel, but you put your cars into like a train or whatever. The guys drove onto the tracks. Yes, bro, they drove on the tracks of the train. Bro, well, what would happen? Me and Chip would always be asleep in between the destinations. We had a guy drive us, which sort of ruins a lot of it. But at the same time, guys, we were so hungover. I don't think I would have been able to drive.
No,
it was so ropey. We would just fall asleep in the back, and then
our driver, he was moving rapid.
Yeah, he was sick.
Yeah, he was good.
Linus was his name.
He was a really good driver.
Legend. Anyways, we get across to France. From France, you then go to Germany and you go on the Autobahn. But the authorities in Germany had said no gumball cars are allowed on the Autobahn. So that's how well known this rally is that when they would go to countries, they were not, and they were just like, no gumballs. Obviously, gumball drivers, they all went on the fucking Autobahn.
Everybody did. I swear everyone did.
Yeah. I mean, you've got like 150 of the craziest cars on the one road in Europe where there's no speed limit. You're going to get them going on that road. So we went through to Germany. Oh, mate, I struggle to remember the route, but we literally went through Italy.
Luxembourg. I remember we going there and we were like talking about how it's not a city, it's a country.
But it does have a McDonald's in it. The biggest is it the biggest McDonald's? Or something like that.
I don't know how you remember this.
Yeah, it's got the biggest McDonald's there, and we stopped off. It's at a gas station, a petrol station. Don't know why I said gas station. And you and me went in there, and it's massive, and it was banging. And then we jumped back in the whip and just kept going. And oh mate, we ended up in Romania, in Bucharest.
Is that in Romania?
Yeah.
Sure.
No. Wait, what? What's in Romania?
Bucharest.
I think so. Can we get a fact check on a phone here?
Because I remember us stopping in Romania and then driving through those Romanian mountains with the green. Yeah. But I don't know if we finished in Romania.
I don't. It is.
We got it.
There you go.
Yeah, you nailed it.